What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. This is one of my favorite ways to cook brisket. Super low and super slow. It's gonna be delicious. Let's get started. This episode, we're gonna talk about how to cook beef brisket. All right, guys, here's everything that we're working with today. We have 2 slabs of beef brisket, okay? These are nice and big. We're probably gonna have to trim some of this fat off right here, and then over here, just a little bit right there. Now, I like to use a mixture of salt and pepper. Some people like to use different kinds of rubs. That's why I'm not gonna go through that entire process again. But basically, you gonna combine all these ingredients right here, and then you gonna simmer it on your stovetop. Once it starts to thicken up a little bit, that's when you know it's ready. Like I said before, if you cook this on the stovetop or even in a slow cooker, it's going to be hard to keep it wall-to-wall medium rare. If you overcook it, it's going to be tough and chewy. So hopefully this video helps you guys out. So that's why we're putting it in the oven. We're trying to hit a milestone this year, and I know we can do it. So thank you guys so much for all the support. Please continue to support the channel. All you've gonna do is you've gonna cover it with some foil, and you've gonna bake it on 250 degrees for 4 hours. Now, after 4 hours, you can go ahead and check your internal temperature. You want to make sure it's about 190 degrees. Once it hits 190 degrees, you can go ahead and turn your oven off. So keep it in there for another 30 minutes, and then you can go ahead and pull it out. Let it rest for about 20 minutes, slice it up, and then you can serve it. So while our sauce is thickening up, we can go ahead and start working on the grilled onions and the mushrooms. So we have half of an onion right here, and we gonna go ahead and slice that up. Then we have a couple handfuls of mushrooms. We're just going to go ahead and slice these up as well. Once you get them sliced up, you can go ahead and throw them in a pan on your stovetop. Now we gonna go ahead and throw a little butter in there, and we just want to lightly toast these onions and mushrooms. We do want to fully cook them through because they've gonna finish cooking in the oven. So we just want to get a little color on them. I'll go ahead and put them on our counter, and I'll come back to that in just a second. And I try to bring you guys the best low-carb recipes that I possibly can. I like to line mine with some aluminum foil, just so it makes it easier to clean up. Then you've want to spread some of this barbecue sauce right here at the bottom of your pan. Now we gonna go ahead and take our beef brisket, and we gonna place it in the pan. We're going to place the onions and the mushrooms on top of the brisket. You can go ahead and put a little more barbecue sauce on top of there if you would like to. And then we're going to cover it with the rest of our barbecue sauce. Make sure all sides are covered. If you want to put a little bit extra on top, you can do that as well. If you like that kind of content, please consider subscribing. It really does help out a lot. You can use whatever you want on this. So I'm just going to go ahead and mix this up right here. We'll get some salt and pepper. And then what I like to do is I like to pour my seasoning on top. Then I like to take a little spoon and then work it into the meat. Get it nice and good in there. And then once you got it seasoned all around, you can go ahead and throw it in your slow cooker. That's where we're going to go ahead and do that now. So once you get all your fat trimmed off your brisket, the next thing you want to do is go ahead and season it. Next thing we need to do is pour some water in there. This is going to help keep the briskets wall-to-wall medium rare. We don't want it to get too well done because that will dry out the brisket. So by putting the water in there, this is going to steam the brisket and keep it wall-to-wall medium rare. Now, usually when you cook a brisket like this, you want to cook it till it hits about 190 degrees. Once it hits about 190 degrees, you can go ahead and pull it out, wrap it up in some foil, let it rest for about 15 to 20 minutes. And then you can go ahead and slice it up. Now, I like to slice it against the grain just so it makes it a little easier to chew on. So we'll set that aside and we'll come back to that in just a second. And guys, if you're new here, I do a ton of recipes, meal prep ideas, healthy keto, all right guys? So we got our briskets in there. The next thing we need to do is start making our barbecue sauce. So we have an entire episode on how to make the perfect barbecue sauce. Next thing we need to do is go ahead and get our casserole dish ready. So we have a 9x13 casserole dish. Now, the reason we're putting this in the oven is because we want to keep it wall-to-wall medium rare. Now, I know this recipe seems really simple, and it is simple, but the biggest thing is you want to make sure you don't overcook that beef brisket. Now, before we go, I want to say thank you guys so much for all of the support on the channel. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a blessed day.